Today, I'll show you how to retrofit the flagship headlight from Busch and Müller, the Briq XL, onto your e-bike. Today we'll be putting it on an e-bike with the Bosch Smart System. Your e-bike system needs at least a 12-volt light connection to install the Briq XL, but it can also be operated with up to 60 volts. Additionally, your e-bike system must provide at least 16 watts of power. If you also have a rear light connected, which I highly recommend in case you find yourself riding your bike while it's dark, then the Briq XL actually requires at least 18 watts to operate. The Briq XL can be operated with an impressive maximum of 60 watts. At the end of the installation, you can precisely adjust how much power the headlight actually uses to clear the road ahead once you have connected the headlight to the app. The Briq XL is delivered with the minimum power consumption of 16 watts. So you can't actually damage anything on your electric bike, because if you demand too much power from your beloved electric bike, you might end up damaging the motor. So make sure that you do not exceed the maximum allowable power for your e-bike. You can operate the Briq XL from Busch and Müller with a single power source, or as we're doing here with the Bosch Smart System, with two power sources. So, on the one hand, through the front light connection, which every standard e-bike should have, and in this case additionally through the high power port, so it gets extra energy and can deliver even more power to the road. If you already have a headlight installed on your e-bike, your first task is of course to remove it completely and disconnect all the plug connections. And a small tip here, leave the previous light cable inside the frame for now. Once you're done with the process of removing your headlight from your bike, we can move on to routing the Briq XL's included light cable through your electric bicycle. To do this, simply remove all necessary parts such as the battery and motor cover so that you have enough space to work. Of course, also unplug the connector for the front light from the motor here. And here's my recommendation. Connect the new Briq XL cable, which will run up to the handlebar, to the existing front light cable at the motor. Now I suggest using a heat shrink tube, which you can quickly fuse together with a lighter. This way you can pull the old cable together with the new cable through the bike's frame without having to fiddle around with the frame using extra tools or a wire, so you can keep things simple with this process. Once you've pulled the light cable through and it has come out at the handlebar, you can first connect the front light connector on your motor to the front light connector of the cable. In this case, these are the two blue connectors, and in our situation we want to work with two power sources. Here we use the LPP, in this case the green port that is included in the package, but we plug it into the high power port with the yellow marking to provide the second power source. We have to do this because our low power port, marked green and grey, is already occupied by the speed sensor, which is located on the rear wheel hub. Before we continue with the installation, I recommend doing a quick test here to make sure everything is really working. To do this, simply insert the battery again, connect the lamp temporarily at the top with the appropriate plug, and turn on the e-bike to check if the lamp works. If this test was successful, you can now move on to mounting the lamp. To do this, simply mount the single arm bracket on the handlebar. In our case, it's a 31.8mm clamp, and then loosely attach the Briq XL to it so that it can't move anymore, but you can still adjust it. You can mount this holder for the Briq XL either to the left or right of the stem. It should be mentioned that you have the option to rotate this small mounting plate on the back of the Briq XL by 180 degrees, giving you even more flexibility when mounting the Briq XL. Now you can bring the e-bike into a horizontal position so that you can adjust the angle of the Briq XL. Make sure here that there is a clear cutoff at the top so that you don't dazzle other road users with the low beam. The best way to do this is simply to stand in front of a wall and shine the headlight directly onto it. If you're satisfied with the adjustment, you can now properly mount the headlight onto the handlebar bracket and tighten it securely. After all, it's relatively heavy, so nothing should wobble even on gravel paths. And then you're almost ready to set off. Now you just need to properly route the cables inside the frame. Put the battery and motor cover back on, make sure everything fits neat and tidy so that nothing rubs anywhere, and then you're ready for a test ride. If you like, you can also pair the Briq XL with the corresponding smartphone app, giving you access to a wide range of settings and riding profiles depending on where you're riding. You can find more information about the Briq XL from Busch and Müller in our online shop, where it is also available to order. If you're now interested in lots of news regarding e-bikes, be sure to subscribe to our channel so you won't miss any of our videos. If you have any questions about installation, feel free to write them in the comment section down below, and don't forget to leave a like on the video. Thank you for watching, and until next time.